Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. All right, let's get this Q&A out of the way. Straight from my school community. All right, bros, ask me one question about women, the S word, the P word, YouTube Q&A. All right, let's go. First one. All right, let me give you a like to help you level up. If women care about triple S score, why do I see short, low test, feminine drama club joining dweebs having girlfriends and they are the most loyal to? Okay, so do you you got some trauma you got to process, bro. What's going on? Well, first of all, again, this is a common fallacy, right? Where people, see outlier scenarios and then they try to like generalize. First of all, these are outliers, guys. These are outliers, right? 9 out of 10 times, if you go out into the real world, you go to a club, you go to Miami, you go to Dubai, you just go into the real world. 9 out of 10 times, women are not gonna be with these guys, right? They're usually gonna be with the usual, high triple S score guy, right? So that's one. Let's get that out of the way. You're making it seem like it's so common. Everywhere you look outside, you just see low test dudes with, with girlfriends, right? So that's one. Two, you didn't specify the quality of the girls, because obviously, if we referring to high quality girls, they're not gonna be slaying them left and right. Three, you also have to remember that there's the birth control effect, right? The birth control pill changes women's preferences, for mates. You also have the fact that remember, women want both a high test mate, right, a guy that has a high triple S score, which is the ability to provide security, status, sexiness, but they also want a guy that's gonna stick around. So women have evolved. If you study evolutionary biology, women have evolved to try to find, to try to get both. The guy with the good genes, the warrior, the hunter, the fighter, but also the guy who's sweet, caring, loved enough to stick around, right? Because what's the point of getting the good genes if you're alone with your child in the wild, right? Or in the tribe. So they want both. So usually what they'll do, and this is again, ton of research on this, is they'll pick the feminine guy to stick around with because they know he's not gonna leave, and then they'll cheat on him with the alpha guy. This is very common across all cultures and across history. So again, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that you don't see. First of all, like I said, this is an outlier scenario. Two, you're not factoring in the birth control thing. Three, you're not factoring in the fact that women's preferences for mate change depending on what phase of the menstrual cycle they're in. Again, ton of research on this. You could look this up. Whether they're in the follicular phase or whatever. So there's so many things that go into that. But that's why we always look at, on average, in general, women pick men with high triple S scores, not those guys. Right? You're always gonna find exceptions. It's like a lot of you guys love to look for exceptions to try to prove your point, but that's the reason why they're exceptions. They're rare. It's like the whole South Korea thing, right? Where they're looking for the feminine looking guy. It's South Korea. That doesn't represent all of mankind. Um, and also, like I said, a lot of these guys that you think are dweebs, some of them have high confidence. Some of them have a high triple S score. You just don't know it. You know. Remember, the triple S score is it's a balance. It's the balance between the three components, the three letters, right? So you could have the middle letter high, the left one low, or whatever. Women look at the balance, not just one thing. Men think that women just look at one thing. They don't, right? If that was the case, we wouldn't. For example, some people think women only care about money. No, there's a lot of freaking super hyper computer science nerds who make six figures a year and can't get laid, right? Because they're awkward as shit, right? So obviously it's not just money. Some people think, oh, they only care about looks. No, there's a lot of 6 foot tall, handsome guys who look better than all of us who are still virgins. So clearly it's not just looks. See, it's the balance between the three letters that women care about. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. But man, you went all out. Next, let's see. Is falling in love with a woman real or just chemistry that eventually goes away? And is it worth it? My experience says it's not because you start thinking with your brain. Okay, guys, you guys know I'm always going to give you guys the brutal truth that no one wants to say because society is ran by a bunch of pussies where everyone wants to like walk on eggshells and let's not hurt feelings and let's all be happy ever after bullshit. Love is not real. Love is a bunch of fucking chemicals in the brain. We know this. This is not a theory. It's not a hypothesis. We know this because there's experiments where you could modulate, oxytocin levels or vasopressin levels, and you get completely different outcomes, both in animals and in humans who are also part of the animal kingdom, believe it or not. Love is not real. It's just chemicals. Okay? If you block a person's oxytocin receptors, you block their vasopressin receptors, you block all the feel good chemicals, they're gonna look at their partner and be like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? It's all chemicals, right? So that's one, and that's also why a lot of marriages fail. I already told you guys about the whole monogamy, polygamy bullshit. Men are not monogamous, blah blah. But if you go down the rabbit hole, you see why a lot of relationships fail. Because people get married based off the fucking short-term chemicals that they think is gonna last forever. Oh yeah, I'm in love. I'm in love. Not knowing that it's a combination of, like I said, oxytocin, vasopressin, even cortisol plays a role. Believe it or not, cortisol plays a role in attraction, adrenaline, dopamine, right? And after a while, the chemicals wear off, and now the person wakes up next to a ugly bitch, or vice versa. She wakes up next to a bum ass broke nigga, and she's like, "Wait, why am I married to this dude?" You know. But in that early phase, where it's the chemicals, right, we become blinded to the flaws in our partner, right? That's what those chemicals do. And then after the chemicals wear off, now people start to notice things that were always around, but now out of nowhere, it's a big deal, right? So again, you have to understand this, young man. Love is not real. It is a bunch of freaking chemicals in your brain. So you want to make sure that you don't make life-changing decisions based on short-term chemicals. But I'm just going to leave it at that. Here's your thumb up. All right, next we have Chad. By the way, I forgot to read the names. First guy was Andy Jung. The second guy, Nicholas Korenev. Where's that from? I'm not about to look this shit up. Where's Korenev from? I'm trying to control the ADHD. Korenev. I'm looking it up. Fuck this. I'm such a culture nerd, man. I love it. I love studying people. Let's see. Slavic, Eastern European. Okay. Slavic motherfucker. All right. Next, we have Hassan. I'm never going to look this up. Hassan, I already know the name origin. Hassan Faris, Chad / Greek god physique, or Chad / tall some muscle. What would women biologically find more attractive? Obviously, some don't find too much muscle attractive, whatever. 5'11", 188, 12% body fat. By the way, there's so many questions we have. Holy shit. Oh, this is a lot. How am I going to do this in 20 minutes? All right, we'll see. I'll try my best. All right, so let's see. Greek god physique or Chad tall, some muscle. Yeah, biologically, if you want to use evolutionary biology, which is the foundation of fucking everything, it would be the Greek god physique. As long as it's not short, because you put Greek god physique or Chad tall, like why is you didn't specify is the Greek god physique tall or short, right? Assuming same height, women are gonna always pick the Greek god physique, and I say always again on average, right? I'm gonna repeat this over and over again, for many reasons. The number one predictor of what a woman finds attractive in a male, and again, there's a billion, pieces of evidence on this, is his perceived fighting ability. As crazy as that sounds, it's crazy how it's shocking, right? His perceived fighting ability. In fact, that's the reason why women like tall men. Studies have shown that they don't like tall men just because height is just cool. No, they like tall men because subconsciously, right, it's in the back of their mind, they think the tall man is a more capable fighter, right? And again, it's fascinating if you look at the studies that came to that conclusion. The number was huge. I think it was like 70%. I think I quoted that study several times. 70% of the variance in attraction, right? When you look at a male body from a female lens, comes from his perceived fighting ability, which makes sense if you look at the shit women had to go through throughout our evolutionary past. So yeah, women are looking for a guy who can protect them, and obviously that translates into resource acquisition, because people forget that we had to learn how to fight before we had to learn how to hunt. So women are not just looking for a hunter; they're looking for a fighter. Also, it doesn't matter how good of a hunter you are if you come home with some food and the nigga across the fucking river from the opposite tribe comes and steals your shit, right? So at the end of the day, it was fighting ability, which is why there's the big sexual dimorphism between men and women, as far as men having more muscle in the upper body and then the more robust jaw and face. So yeah, so on average, they will look to the Greek god physique. All right, let me give you a thumb up. So yeah, guys, one of the best things you could do to increase your triple S score, to increase your dating success, is look like you could fight. Actually, learn how to fight. I feel like every man should know how to fight, but at least look like it. So that's what women like. the shoulders. If you think about it, look at the muscles that women like. They're muscles that are associated with fighting ability. Broad shoulders, you know, abs. You know, it means you fit. You have good endurance, and you can obviously you guys know the role of the core and the abs in punching power. Glutes, where most of your punching power comes from, and your throwing power. Yeah. Next is pretending you're talking to a male friend when you're actually speaking to a woman. A valid strategy to overcome fear or shyness when talking to them. All right, this is from this is from my nigga Tapioca. Let's go. Okay, Tapatio Choquero. Okay. Pretending to, yeah, I mean, I made a video about this years ago, well over 10 years ago, where I explained that was one of my secrets. When I had super high anxiety as an ugly nigga, I was pretending like I was talking to a guy, right? And to this day, it works. Whenever I'm talking to a woman, now it's automatic. I don't even have to pretend. It's automatic, right? Because you guys put women on a pedestal. You think they're these mythical fucking creatures that shit out gold dust. They're just like you. In fact, they're more anxious than you. A lot of time you're talking to a pretty woman, she's actually anxious because she's comparing herself to the women who are prettier than her. So a woman who's like a 7 out of 10 thinks she's like a 4. You know? Women have double the rates of anxiety than men do. But going off a tangent here. Yes, when you're talking to a woman, pretend that you're talking to a nigga. Obviously, don't make it so extreme that you turn on full Diddy, but pretend you're talking to a guy. They're humans, guys. They're just like you. Like I always say, if you put an X-ray over a woman, what are you gonna see? You're gonna see a fucking ugly ass skeleton with bones. Look at a picture of a skeleton, right? That's a woman. The only difference is you're looking at the skin and the pretty face that's covering that skeleton, but underneath that face is a fucking ugly skull, right? So women should not intimidate you guys. When you're talking to a woman, pretend that you're talking to a guy, right? It's not any different. That's why I was able to be so comfortable, so confident, you know, in my fucking whole days. So anyway, yeah, it's a great strategy, and I feel like it should be automatic anyway. All right, next from Leo, what's this? Valitskia? Leo Valitskia? Let me look up. What if a lot of these names are fucking made up and I'm over here looking up names and shit just to find out that you guys made it up? Valitskia, Latin roots, meaning strong, powerful. The fuck are you from, bro? Anyway, control the ADHD. All right, how can I last longer doing X? I'm right now at like 20 minutes, but isn't it better to last longer? I'm already improving it with good diet and taking black maca. So what can I do? Also, is it really worth it when the girl is not that attractive? Because I'm bored to have sex with girls that are not. Okay, guys, this is one of my biggest pet peeves, man. I have so many pet peeves, but use punctuation, man. Commas, periods, maybe a little semicolon, colon action here and there. Like, what the hell, man? Use punctuations. All right, let me see this again. How can I last? Let me answer the first one. How can I last longer? Right now I'm at 20. First of all, if you're at 20 minutes, give yourself a fucking pat on the back. You're doing way more than is necessary. I already told you guys. You guys put women on pedestal. I do not last that long unless I actually want to. Most of the times, I'm done with my fucking stressful day. Had a lot of work to do. Got a lot of shit on my mind. Like most of you guys should. You should be building your empire. I just want to clap my cheeks and go to bed. Right? I know people gonna be like, oh my God, this is so. I don't give a fuck. Fuck all of y'all. I don't care. I don't exist to please women. I get my nut and I leave it. Like I always say, it's not my fault that women need fucking 10 to 15 minutes to orgasm. That's their fault. That's their problem. Actually, we know the reason why. We know the scientific reason why. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But I don't care. If I finish in 2 minutes, then 2 minutes it is. 5 minutes, 5 minutes it is. Sometimes I go long, 10, 20, whatever. But that's if I actually want to. Most of the times I don't. I just want to get my nut, man. You guys put women on such a pedestal. Oh, but what if she's not satisfied? That's her fucking problem. That's not mine. The fuck? Oh, man. So, yeah. So, 20 minutes? She should be happy you give her 20 minutes, man. Now, like I said, sometimes, I'm not trying to act like, no, there's sometimes where I'll try to last longer, right, to make the girl happy, right? Or in my case right now, my girlfriend, right? But, all of my exes will tell you that I was one of the worst people to have sex with because I was extremely selfish. And I don't give a fuck. I'm standing on business to this day. I got my nut and I went to bed, right? But anyway, yeah, so how can you last longer? I mean, one way to last longer is obviously use a condom. If you use a condom, you will last longer. Back to what I said earlier, whenever I wanted to last longer, I would just use a condom because it fucking removes most of the feeling. Another way to last longer is, that's the funny one, is I would just, stop stroking, right? Take a break, stroke, 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 take a break, take a break, take a break, right? And then keep going, right? I used to try to like pull out and then go back in later on, but sometimes pulling out and trying to go back in would make me nut, bro. Because you guys know what I'm talking about. When you pull out and you try to go back in and it's mad sensitive, you're like, oh fuck. All right, now you bust a nut and you're not even inside. So don't do that one. Don't pull out. Just stroke, stroke, stroke. If you feel like you're about to nut, just pause, pause, pause. Right, and go again. Another thing I would do sometimes is I would try to think of like an ugly bitch or some shit. Right. Try not to think of a bitch that's too ugly, because then your dick is just gonna drop. But there's many strategies to just not nut fast. Because what makes us nut fast is just excitement. Excitement. It feels good. That's why the condom works, because it reduces the feeling. That's why thinking about an ugly bitch works, because it reduces the pleasure, right? So just look for ways to do that. Another thing that will make you last long is, believe it or not, if it's not fun, if the sex is boring, you're gonna last long. Try to pick a position that's not too exciting. Like for me, doggy style, I would not within a couple of minutes, right? Because doggy style is just, it's life. So try to pick a position that doesn't excite you as much. Like I fucking hate missionary, so I would last 3 fucking hours if I'm doing missionary. Yeah, these are different tricks you could use, guys. It's not rocket science. Next you said, what's this? Also, is it really worth it when the girl is not that attractive? Because I'm bored to have sex with girls that are not that. I don't even know what you're asking here. So anyway, here's your like. Next, is worth going to circles of friends or doing Smeagol Smeagol activities? Is it worth going to smoking, clubbing, drinking alcohol to get a girlfriend for the short term? In my city, every hot girl is in these circles. Yeah, I mean, first of all, spell Smeagol right. Like, guys, we're not gonna keep doing Smeagol dirty like that, right? At least spell his name right, right? Yeah, I mean, if you, like I said, every man, in my opinion, should there's no reason you should be a virgin. I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna keep it that simple and that brutally honest. You should not be a virgin by the time you're like 25. That's insane. That's insane. 25-year-old virgin, right? So whatever you need to get those first cheeks, to give you that momentum and that confidence, because let's be honest, if you're a virgin at 25 or 22, your confidence won't be high, right? For the most part, it won't be high, right? And you have to lie and tell the girl, no, I'm not a virgin when you are, or whatever. No, get sexual experience early, you know? So if that's what it takes for you to get your first girl, your first cheeks, go for it. That doesn't mean that you also have to smoke and drink and all that stuff, right? You can skip that. But if you got to go out every now and then with friends to, in fact, I told you guys one of the best ways to find easy cheeks is through friends of friends, right? It's at work, at school, or through friends of friends. That dating app bullshit that only works if you have a really handsome face, you tall, whatever. Great. If you're tall, good looking, right? You could use an app. But most apps do not work for 90% of you niggas, right? Because you're either not tall enough or not handsome enough, which is fine. Go into the real world. That's the next step, right? Because on the app, the only thing the woman can confirm is your face and your height, right? Assuming that you're not photoshopping shit. So you don't have an advantage on dating apps. Go into the real world, right? Most of the chicks that I got, most of the booty calls during my whole days was at work, at school, and sure enough, through friends of friends, right? So yeah, to answer your question, hopefully it answers your question. Next, let's see, Fabian Arroyo. All right, my nigga Fabian, 6'1". Okay, I remember you. Average looking face. You said in the Q&A you wouldn't recommend cold approaching for the average guy. What about me? Are you the average guy? The fuck? Like, if you're the average guy, then I wouldn't recommend you cold approaching. You 6'1", okay, you tall. 25% body fat, skinny fat, that's not good. Average looking face probably means you're ugly, because to women, the average guy is ugly, right? So I don't think you should cold approach, man. I think cold approaching makes you look desperate from a woman's perspective. In fact, I don't think that's actually a fact. I think guys who cold approach are desperate, unless, once again, unless you have a really high triple S score, really handsome. In that case, they want you to cold approach them, right? But most of you guys are not in that fucking. Guys, as a man, you gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta know where you are on the fucking hierarchy, right? So play to your strengths. Don't try to play to your weaknesses. If you're not a fucking Chad in the face, don't try to cold approach women. They're gonna think you creepy and they're gonna think you desperate, right? So yeah. So I can't see your face, but if you're saying that you have an average looking face, chances are you're probably ugly. Sorry, we gotta be honest, right? I say I'm ugly all the time. I'm honest with myself. You gotta be honest with yourself. Part of confidence, like I told you guys, part of confidence is what? The first part is competence. What's the second part? Not giving a fuck. The reason why I'm so confident is because I don't give a fuck about so many of the things you guys care about when you're dealing with women. You care too much. You care too much. Guys, we're all gonna die. You guys care too much. You know? But anyway, next, what do I see? Very attractive young man with fat ass, ugly faced guy. So you would have hated me. You would have hated me back in the days, bro. For what I explained earlier, he has a high triple S score, right? Attraction is not just looks. People, the looks maxing movement has made you guys delusional, man. Attraction. The problem is men project, right? We project the way we see things because we rate women mainly based on their looks. So we think that it works both ways. We think that women mainly look at our looks. No. Most of the time, when a man looks at a woman, the biggest factor is her looks, but it's not the same vice versa. We know this because you could see an attractive woman with a 7-year-old billionaire and he looks like shit. He looks like fucking expired Gandalf, right? Meanwhile, how many young, good looking Chads do you see with 80-year-old women who are billionaires? Think about it. Why do you think it doesn't go, it doesn't work both ways? Because men mostly look at looks, whereas women look more at security, status, and then sexiness last, right? So the reason why you see a very attractive young woman with an ugly guy is because he's compensating with other areas of his triple S score. His overall triple S score is high. You know, he might be funny, he might be an athlete, he might be have money, which is a sign of competence. He might be, charming. There's so many things, apart from just looks. Next, what things should I keep in mind? And who was this? That was Mike W. Okay. Next, Nerme Goel. What things should I keep in mind um, when talking to a girl? Was with her friends versus when she's alone? See, that overanalysis. Oh my goodness, you guys love to overanalyze shit. Who cares? What things should I keep in mind when whether she's alone or with her friends? Look at the amount of hair splitting you guys do. You split so many fucking hairs. Why do you care so much? Just talk to the bitch. Just talk. Why do you need a fucking different protocol based on whether she? Now, of course, if she's with she's with her friend's gonna try to cock block and whatever. But you shouldn't worry about that stuff, bro. Just talk, have a good time, and when the opportunity is right, move on to the next base. So I don't even entertain questions like that because it's lower rise, over analysis. What does he say? Do what you want to do, what you think about trying to. Yeah. Next, do you think someone like Genghis Khan got to clap so many cheeks because women loved him, meaning his triple S score, or because he might have been a sociopath, a sociopath who mass graped as he roamed through Asia? Both. Both. He was a notorious graper and cheek clapper, obviously. And also the fact that he had a mega high triple S score. Women love power. Guys, women love, I repeat, love power. When I say power, I mean like influence, wealth. Again, the triple S score, right? Status, big network, whatever. Women are addicted to that stuff. And it is across all cultures and across history. Why? Because once again, evolutionary biology. Like I always say, guys, if you don't understand evolutionary biology, you will never understand women and you will never understand yourself. Right? So women love power. They're attracted to that shit like fucking flies to shit. All right, so let me give you a like. God damn. We're almost at 30 minutes. A few minutes ago. All right. Next, what are your calls on cold approaching? Waste of time unless you're extremely good looking with extremely high triple S score. Next, Megan, what's your body count? Here's the funny thing. There you go. I answered that question so many times. If you know your body count, then you do not have intersexual experience. Guys, we start counting when we're in like our late teens. Because obviously when we're teenagers, it was the hot thing to do, right? Who has the highest body count? Oh, it is. I'm at 2, I'm at 3, I'm at 5, I'm at 10, whatever. Then you get to a point where you literally lose count because one, there's somebody that has way more than you, right? Like in the freaking hundreds. Or two, just because we got bored, it stopped mattering. Like we started focusing on our mental. I remember in my early 20s when I was really, because I've been battling depression my whole life. And it got to a point where, that's when I told you guys I got the most cheeks when I was depressed because I really didn't give a fuck. And again, it made me confident, not because of competence, but because I didn't give a fuck. And it attracted women like crazy because they're like to them it was mysterious. They're like, why is this guy so like, you know, why does he not care? Little did they know I was depressed, you know. So I shot my shot. If it worked, great. If not, just be my meat. I didn't care. So yeah, so at that point, the last on my mind was, oh, what's your body count? Because we were doing that as friends to compete with each other, and it got to a point where either one of us took the lead, and it was no longer worth counting, or we started worrying about other things. But yeah, I have no idea. I would literally, what's funny? The last time I tried to do my body count, again in my late teens, that's when it was in the 30s, and it took me a while to even get the final number. I forgot what the final number was, and I'm 20. Sorry, god damn, I'm 36 now, and this was in my what year was that? I'm trying to remember what year it was. Was it when I was in Staten Island still? But anyway, and when I got the final number, a few days later, I literally just kept adding to it because I kept remembering another one and another one and another one and another one. So I would literally have to pull out a piece of paper and look at every state I've been in. Who did I clap when I was in New York? Who did I clap when I was in college? Who did I clap when I was in Texas? Who did I clap when I was in freaking Huntsville, Alabama, Virginia? When I went back to Huntsville, yeah, I have no idea, guys. I have no idea. It's definitely not in the freaking thousands. Hell no. I wish. Next, is 5'10". If 5'10" is average, then what makes you a 10'10" at status, security, and sexiness? Let me give you wait, did I read his name? Preston Diary? Okay, I did. Uh, if 5'10" is average, then what makes you a 10'10" at status? Security? Yeah, I mean 10'10" means you literally S tier. So 10'10" in status will be, I mean, who's 10'10"? None of us are 10'10", right? 10'10" is like, at status, you'll be freaking billionaire, celebrity. I'll give you an example, like what's his name? Like Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is a 10-10 in status, right? He's popular. He has a huge following. He has a huge social group, right? His network is big. His net worth is high. Um, that's 10-10 in status, right? Next, you got security. Same thing. 10-10 security. Remember, security is your ability to defend yourself or fight, whatever, but also your finances, your ability to provide resources, shelter, food, whatever. So that would be again a billionaire. You know, remember there's relative triple S score. So that's how you rate, how you score compared to people in your region, your city, your town, your school, your college, whatever. And there's also absolute triple S score, which is literally compared to the whole world. So if you're referring to absolute triple S score, then yeah, 10-10 status would be like a fucking billionaire or a celebrity or an athlete. Like LeBron is like 10-10 status, if not 9-10. Security, same thing. Think of somebody who has a huge ability to provide both financial and physical security. Sexiness, same thing. 10-10 in sexiness would be freaking, perfect face, 6 foot tall, whatever. It's not hard. Just think of like the max level uh, of each. Anyway, next. Fuck, I want this to be 30 minutes long. How many more questions? God damn it. Y'all motherfuckers. All right, let me hurry up. Why do some people say that girls don't like too much muscle? What is the best physique for attractiveness before it gets too bulky? For context, I'm 5'11", skinny fat. Yeah, so girls do not like too much muscle, right? So they don't like the IFBB mass monster shit, which is sad because that was my dream physique my whole life, and it's still my dream physique. Fuck what women want, but yeah, they don't like the Ronnie Colemans. Of course, like I said, there's always outliers, but on average, they don't like the super huge effort for my fucking 40 motherfuckers, right? They think it's gross. Some of them think it screams insecurity. They want you to have that Greek guy physique right there in the middle, around 10 to 12% body fat, visible abs, nice shoulders, nice V taper. Even the Chris Bumstead physique is a little too much for most women, right? They just want a nice, to keep it simple, they just want you to be lean, meaning your abs are showing. Ideally, your Adonis belt, right, the V. Your abs, your obliques are showing, and they want you to have some muscle on you, right? So, great example is like, they like the Brad Pitt physique from Fight Club. Um, they're like the limit starts to get like around the Thor physique from Ragnarok in the first Thor movie. That's when you start to get a little too bulky. But yeah, they want a nice MMA fighter physique, right? And when I say MMA fighter, I'm referring to like like around lightweight, you know, maybe featherweight, right? I should make a video showing you guys where the cutoff is. But yeah, there's a lot of studies on there. Let's see. Oh wait, the other question is, what is the best physique for attractiveness? Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. So try to get to FMI 22 to 23, low body fat percentage, right? The closer you get to 8 to 10% body fat, the closer you get to um, peak male physique as far as sexual attractiveness goes. All right, next, because that's where you start to see your Adonis belt. In your experience, how much important is basic hygiene for getting women like A tier, S tier, or doesn't matter? Your basic hygiene is crucial. I mean, it's crucial. And again, I'm talking about basic hygiene. I'm not talking about like being a fucking people who obsess over like every little detail. Oh, my skin and my eyebrows and fuck that. Just basic hygiene. Don't smell like ass. Make sure you brush your teeth. Um, yeah. Basic hygiene is fucking S tier, bro. Again, you said basic hygiene. All right. Next, what are other factors women seek other than triple S in guys? Nothing else. Nothing else. On average, even a woman says, "Oh, he's funny," that's the status part of triple S score, because people that are funny usually have good social skills and they know how to, again, have a make friends and influence people and stuff like that. If you look at everything most women find attractive in a guy, you could boil it down to the triple S score. So no, there's no other factors. Again, on average, now, of course, there's gonna be some outlier shit. Women might be like, "Oh, I like the fact that your fucking nose is crooked." Okay, but that's an outlier. Next, why do so many people say that money is not important when getting chicks? They're fucking retarded. Money is extremely important. Um, Again, it's not the only factor, right? People think important means the only factor. No, important does not mean the only factor. It just means the big percentage of the variance, right? Um, Money is important to an extent, right? And you also got to look at relative income, not just absolute income. But yeah, money is important. And remember the way the triple S score works. The less you have in something, the more you got to compensate in something else, right? So if you don't have enough money, that's okay as long as you compensate by having high status or high sexiness. Because at the end of the day, it's the total final triple S score that matters, right? The highest you could score is 30, right? 10 for security, 10 for status, 10 for sexiness, right? So let's say you broke. Let's say you 4 out of 10 for security, um, but you're very high in status and very good looking. Guess what? Your total triple S score is still high as fuck. See? So that's why you guys get it fucked up when you just look at one variable as opposed to the whole picture. All right, and your name is Anikit Priyadashi. So that's probably India or somewhere in South Asia, but I know I probably butchered your name. And this guy was Pratik Singh. Singh is definitely in that region. Next, you have. All right, I gotta wrap this up. Once you got the triple S score good, where do you meet the best women? How do you talk to them? Well, if your triple S score is good, you will know how to talk to them, because part of the triple S score, the middle, which is status, includes social skills, game, communication skills, because that's how you increase your social status. Not only you have to be good at something, but you gotta have a big group of friends, a big network. So, yeah, this question doesn't make sense, because if your triple S score is good, you will know how to talk to them. You know, guys, stop going up to women with a script. They could tell that shit. They could tell you're not being yourself. They could tell that you're going there with a pre-recorded script in your mind, right? And it's a sign that you have low confidence, and they could smell that. I told you guys, women could smell low confidence from a mile away, a mile away. So, as far as where do you meet the best women, I explained that before. Either at work, at school, if you around that age, or through friends of friends. That's it. That's where you meet the best women. Obviously, if you're religious, you can meet them at church and all that stuff. But it's kind of fucked up going to church to find potential cheek clapping opportunities. But anyway, if having a high triple S score is rare, why is sex so common? Um, First of all, what do you mean rare? A lot of people have a high triple S score. They don't have maxed out, but a lot of people have a high triple S score. You know. So yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by why is that having a? You don't need to be 10, 10, 10, meaning 30, perfect score to clap cheeks. The fuck? You just gotta be around average or above average. Also, we say sex is so common. You gotta remember that a small percentage of men are getting the vast majority of cheeks. You know, the Pareto principle kicks in as well as Price's law. You know, so it's almost like, 80% of cheeks are being clapped by like 20% of niggas. So yeah. Anyway, does the triple does the triple S score still apply to MILFs? Of course, bro. What the fuck? Of course it does. By the way, I love MILFs, man. But you guys not ready for my MILF stories. All right, next. The first real move to approach how to break the first real, there goes you guys hating punctuation again. The first real move to approach how to break the fucking ice. I avoid to I avoid to approach it, missing too many chances. I know not to care still. Again, you guys are gonna hear that boring answer every time. Boost your triple S score. Find out which area of the triple S score you lack in and boost that shit. Right? Because for you to say, "Oh, I don't know how to break the ice," it means something is wrong with the status part of your triple S score, and to be specific, the social skills part of your triple S score. Meaning your conversation skills are trash, your public speaking skills are trash, right? You probably don't have enough stories to talk about. Probably don't have an interesting life worth discussing, right? So work on that first. I'm so tired of you guys trying to put the cart before the horse. You're trying to skip steps, right? You're playing fucking Dark Souls. You're trying to fight the final boss without doing part one, part two, part three. You're trying to just go in there with shitty ass weapons, right? You're playing Pokemon with freaking Pallet Town level 5 Pokemon and you're trying to fight the Elite Four, right? Stop skipping steps. Boost the relevant areas of your triple S score first, then you will have the answer to these questions. Because I'm not gonna give you like a script like, oh, okay, say this first. All the videos where people give you guys scripts and templates, it's so bullshit. It's so much bullshit. Because the girl can tell you're not being yourself. Trust me. Oh my goodness. When you've been with enough women, you will know, right? Everything I'm telling you guys. But they know when guys are faking it. They know when guys are, memorizing a script or whatever. It shows in your body language. And women are really good at reading body language. Right? Just fill in the gaps in your triple S score. Don't skip it. Don't skip the steps. Right? Trying to bench 315 and you're not benching 100. Like what's going on? Anyway, can a relationship be successful where the woman makes more money than the man? If you want to look up the statistics, the chance that a relationship will fail is way higher than vice versa. And again, the reason is simple. Back to evolutionary biology, it's very hard for a woman to have deep respect and admiration for a man if she makes more than him. She would say that she doesn't care. Women lie a lot, man. Just like men. I mean, men lie too. Women lie a fucking lot. They don't want to hurt feelings, so they'll say, "Oh no, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care if I make more than him." But wait till you hear them talk to their close friends or whatever, or look what the studies show. If a woman makes more than a guy, again, there are exceptions, but more often than not, she will have uh, less respect for him, and it will manifest itself through her behavior, the way she will talk to him, the way she won't value his opinion. Um, it's going to be a tough relationship where she's going to be the one pretty much wearing the pants in a relationship and making the final decisions. And every now and then she'll let him make some decisions to make him feel, that he's a man or whatever. But more often than not, again, this is not me. You can look up the studies on that, including the surveys and whatever. Women prefer their men to make more than them. And sure enough, if the numbers don't lie. If a woman makes like 100K, more often than not, her man makes close to that, if not more. If she makes 500K, he makes close to that, not more. Unless they got together, you know, where he was making more to her and then she surpassed him, But yeah, I mean, can it be successful? Of course. Everything I say, guys, is based on averages. There's always going to be exceptions, right? That's why the fucking bell curve exists. But anyway, next, does finding your Ikigai increase the chances of finding a compatible partner? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I keep just shoving that whole Ikigai shit down your throats. Full diddy. Right? Look at my videos from the beginning of the channel where I talk about finding your soil. That's all your Ikigai is. It's finding your soil, finding your area of dominance. Right? The whole Team 3D concept, dominance, discipline, direction, right? It's all about finding that area. Why? Because it answers almost every question that you have. It will level up your triple S score because it will give you security and status, right? It will help you with your communication skills, right? It will help you in your growing your brand if you're an entrepreneur. It will help you make friends. All the things you need to find a good partner, right? You will find those things as you finding your Ikigai and you pursuing it, right? But right, and his name was Bhavjit Singh, another Singh motherfucker. You could tell for the guys who don't know the history of that region, whatever. But you could tell that the original Singh was a fucking pimp. I mean, look how many people have his name now. But anyway, hope this helps, guys. Join the SKOOL community. Buy the eBooks. Look at the links in the description. Hire me for one-on-one coaching. I'm out of here.